wanted to take a quick second to make a huge announcement. My very own self-published adult coloring book is now available for purchase on amzn.to. Welcome to another episode of the Organic Mindset Podcast. If you've been tapped in, you already know what episode it is, so I don't even have to say that. But I decided to kind of come on here again by myself, and right now it's about 2:30 in the morning. So if I'm shooting at this time, you already know I got some on my mental. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was just more so kind of like pretty much how this week was going for me, and it's all gonna tie together, of course. So this week was kind of, one of the more hectic weeks for me. But I found out pretty much just by, really kind of like writing down my goals and stuff like that, things I wanted to accomplish each day, even I guess you would say like for a long term, because I kind of like to plan ahead, just, looking in and watching stuff like that. So I always kind of, preach to y'all how important it is to, write down your goals and stuff like that. So this week I kind of wanted to really just kind of like hit heavy on that, because I felt like if I was, in a situation and I didn't, write down my goals, I kind of would have been lost, would have kind of got off track, wouldn't have been as consistent. So, I definitely wanted to kind of like hop on that. And I feel like, it's kind of like helpful, especially with me kind of reiterating it, because like I said, the more I'm learning, the more I could pretty much just pass off. So like I had previously said on, other podcasts, other episodes, it's kind of like important for me personally to kind of like just look at everything I have to do. Different methods, of course, but looking at everything I have to do, writing every single thing down. And then from that point, once I write everything down, I kind of look at like my timestamps, like, okay, I know how much time, I have in my day, of course. Besides the 24 hours, like realistically, how many hours I want to sleep, stuff like that, which I, don't get as much sleep as I feel like I should. But I still manage to, do everything I'm supposed to do, or do everything that I want to do in a sense. So, like I said, with writing everything down, once I do that, I kind of come up with like strict timestamps as far as, okay, I know I'm going to be working from such and such time to such and such time. That's not really too flexible. I might, get a 15-minute break or something like that, get my lunch break, try to fit something extra in, like if I have homework or something, try to do that homework during that period. So I know once I get off, I'm pretty much like fully locked in. And I feel like, also kind of that's one of the things that's really growing on to me as far as like, just kind of really having that mindset, because it's easy to kind of like get out from your regular job and kind of be content. Like, okay, I'm tired, this, that, and the other. But I feel like, when you really kind of like striving, you're really working for something like, as far as, on a personal standpoint, or something that, that could possibly like, change your future, is like, if you had that mindset, you could definitely, alter that, and also like just be more driven to do it. So I definitely kind of, like wanted to just kind of reiterate on that and just kind of like share some of my personal experiences, especially like I say this week, because it was a kind of hectic week. Like I said, obviously you see what time I'm shooting the podcast. I'm not pressed on having to like edit it or drop it like real soon and nothing like that. But this is just kind of like I said, one of the things, when something like heavy on my mental, I feel like it's easy for me to just kind of like, flip on the camera, pull out the microphone and stuff like that, and kind of just, come on here and just pretty much just open up or whatever, So yeah, man, with this planning, I cannot like reiterate it enough. For real, it's so important. If you're not, doing it like I'm doing it, as far as, hour by hour or minute by minute, whatever, as long as you, writing something down as far as, things you want to accomplish, even in the daytime, I feel like that's, helpful, because a lot of times one of the things that we associate that with is like a grocery list or something like that. And, people write their grocery list down, mark it off the list. It's the same way with, kind of writing down things you want to do during the day, or that you have to do during the day, or even just your goals, whether they be short term or long term. I feel like I said, it really kind of keeps me on track. Like, and I have been like more, consistent with it, because it's all about, like I said last week, really just holding yourself accountable. I feel like if you can't hold yourself accountable, then pretty much writing your stuff down really won't help, because it's like you just writing it down for no reason. But if you sit there and you know what I'm saying, you really hold yourself like accountable, like, okay, I got this stuff down. I'ma, go ahead and pretty much knock this stuff out. In my opinion, you know what I'm saying, the earlier the better. Sometimes you can't get around the stuff, but just writing it down and just knowing, okay, I know I have to do this at some point in time. I'm not gonna keep pushing it off. I'm not gonna keep delaying it. Knocking it out the next day, that's beneficial, because I kind of like caught myself with a lot of things. Sometimes you look at things like, okay, I know I gotta call X, Y, and Z to, do this or cancel it. A lot of times, with these 5-10 minute calls, we sit there and because I catch myself doing it. I'm sitting there, I'm scrolling on social media, on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm like, dang, man, I know I had to do this. I could have been did that instead of, being on YouTube, being on social media. So I feel like this week was also kind of just a big part of me kind of like backing off of social media a lot. Like, I seen my screen time go down a lot, especially, in regards to like social media. Like, I still been doing my research and stuff like that on, other topics that I always kind of discuss. But as far as social media, I kind of been slacking off of it, just because I feel like overall, for the point, I might get on there and post like, okay, episode blah, blah, blah came out, this, that, and other. Might post my promo video, this, that, and the other. But as far as just kind of like being engaged with social media news or celebrity news and stuff like that, that really hasn't been like a big thing this week. So I feel like also, one of the like different things that kind of tie into, writing your stuff down is that feeling of accomplishment. Like, not saying I feel like that every day, because at this point I'm kind of like used to kind of having a consistent schedule and knocking out the things I want to do. But at a point it wasn't always like that. I'd be just happy to knock out, 3 to 5 things that I had to knock out. So it's, it kind of gives you like that feeling of accomplishment compared to just knowing you got to do it and doing it. Because who's to say, it's not more leniency with that, I guess you would say. Like, sometimes when I think of something that I have to do, compared to me actually writing it down and checking it off like a checklist, I just don't feel the same after I finish it. And it's not like, since somebody else like giving you a pat on the back or nothing like that. It's really you just congratulating yourself, like, okay, I'm glad I knocked this out. And it doesn't have to be, a reward. For me, that's personally, a reward enough. Just me knowing I knocked that out and being able to say, okay, I can mark this on my list. Not saying that it won't be a recurring task or something like that, because one of the things I later wanted to talk about was just pretty much like ads and stuff like that. But that was kind of like one of my things, just to kind of share a little insight. That was one of my things that I was having to do like pretty much every day this week, because I was kind of having like continuous ads run, just as far as, just promoting the brand and stuff like that. So it's like, you kind of want to monitor. And also with the book, don't forget the book. Go check that out for sure. But it's going to be in the description as always. But, like I say, with these ads and stuff like that, just kind of like becoming more familiar with them, I'm starting to kind of like have them as continuous, where they kind of running and not having a deadline. So with them not having an end date, it's pretty much like, you want to make sure you're not really just going like extremely over your budget. Because I always have a number in mind, like, okay, I plan on spending XYZ amount. And I just kind of like keep it simple as that, because it is easy to go over that budget. But I mean, after, saying you kind of like do your due diligence and stuff like that, then it kind of makes it easier to know like what specific things to set up in order, so you won't have to kind of monitor as much. But me personally, like I said, I kind of like to look at my stuff every single day, just because. But I guess kind of onto the ads and stuff like that. I kind of also wanted to just share this knowledge, because it's like a million videos out there, pretty much just like telling you how to utilize different ads, whether that be like Amazon ads or something like that, Google ads, which I have been using both. But at first, I kind of had like a bad experience with the ads. I really felt like it wasn't effective, or as effective as I would like it to be. So the first time I used ads, it was mainly to I was using Facebook ads and stuff like that to promote the videos. And not really, like I say, for the views, just to kind of like get the awareness out there, because I do feel like, overall, majority of the episodes that we have is like some kind of, I feel like I'll even go further than that. I feel like every single episode has something for somebody. Every episode might not be for you, because you kind of might have this one thing that you're looking for, but I guarantee, every single episode that drops has something for somebody. So like I say, I was pretty much just promoting on Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that, just to kind of push the brand. And I was seeing like a decent amount of reach and a decent amount of engagement. And like I said, I don't really get caught up in views, likes, or anything like that. So that really wasn't the plan. It was just more so kind of like I say, to kind of get eyes on what was going on, to just pretty much bring awareness. And I feel like with those ads, it was pretty simple. I mean, I learned a couple of little small things here and there, but the ads overall for Facebook not for Facebook, for Facebook and Instagram, pretty much, simple, self-explanatory in a sense. You can kind of tweak little small stuff, but it's not really too much you can mess up. You just kind of got to know who you pretty much trying to, like who you want to see your item or your product or whatever it may be, and kind of like how long you want it to stay out there. Simple as that. As far as Amazon ads in relation to the book and stuff like that, and Google ads for different videos or whatever else, it's kind of like you really have to be on point with those, because I feel like it's so much stuff that you can mess up, and it's easy to target the wrong audience or kind of have it out there for the wrong reason. But I guess the main reason I kind of wanted to bring up ads, because I feel like a lot of times it's kind of like something that people don't take advantage of. I wouldn't even say it's like looked down on, but it's just one of those things that people don't really take advantage of, just off the simple fact. But it's like different things do come with it, like likes, views, and stuff like that. But I feel like as long as you and this is in relation to like videos and stuff like that. But if you have like a brand and you're actually selling a product, you would definitely want to kind of like promote, or you would definitely want to promote, in the best way possible. And not to say that you have to use these ads all the time, but I feel like it's kind of good to, it's a good tool in a sense, not really to just promote the brand, but also to pretty much bring that awareness to self, to let you know, okay, I'm seeing that, based on this advertisement, my product is reaching XYZ, so let me, start targeting them. And, it could be real specific as far as, age-wise, ethnicity, location, and stuff like that. So, you definitely kind of want to take advantage of not necessarily just the ads, but some of the features that the ads consist of, as far as, like I say, giving you that engagement and giving you that insight on where your product is going, or who is looking at your product. And that, like I say, it's a continuous process. Like, I still kind of catch myself, like, despite, like running a podcast this many weeks and using, advertisements this many weeks. Not saying I use them all the time. Like, a lot of time, I really kind of just like to push that, organic and, not even dealing with the name. But yeah, I like to kind of just, like push everything more so organically, like while I'm posting a live, just sending different videos to people, just sending whatever, just pushing that content out, just by myself, not really even just paying for advertisement, just because I want to see, like, okay, what's my engagement? Like, what can I do better? Not necessarily just me going to go, make a couple clicks and pay somebody, but what can I do, better? So that's definitely like one of the things to think about. And I want to say, in the midst of that, about juggling, multiple tasks, it's kind of like multiple major tasks at that. It's kind of easy to like lose sight of, like your primaries and stuff like that. So I feel like with writing that down, that also kind of helps, and that kind of ties into what I was saying at first, as far as just kind of like having that schedule of, like what you want to do and stuff like that. So like, it'd be a lot of times I kind of catch myself, because I feel like, with the podcast, I mean, all depending on the conversation, I go there, or even if I'm on here by myself, not saying I just, like don't want to talk about certain stuff, but certain times I get on here and I really kind of forget like all the things I have going on. Like literally, I mean, I already told y'all why I'm recording, so late, but like literally right before this, I had just like kind of wrapped up some homework. So it's just like, about like setting them priorities and kind of like realizing what comes first, and making sure that, you kind of like stay true to it, and really just stick to, okay, I know I got to do this. I know, what's the most important to me. I know it's going to take, XYZ amount of time, and pretty much, just kind of making that schedule based off of that, because like I said, it is easy to kind of get caught up when you do have a lot going on, and it's easy to be really neglectful in a sense. Like, I try my hardest to, pretty much not neglect anything I have going on. But with me saying that, being transparent, of course, so March is, right around the corner and stuff like that. And today, when I was kind of like right now, saying a couple like long-term goals, I was thinking to myself like, dang, like it's really a lot of stuff I have out there that's still open. Not saying that I, never like I gave up on it or started it and quit. It's just like I talked about before, it's a couple courses I, purchased or whatever. And whenever I feel like, I see like a good course that's high quality, can offer, something that I plan on looking at, whether it be, like a clothing brand or e-commerce store or something like that. Whenever I see the course and I see it's like cheap, it's easy for me to buy because I know, like I said, that knowledge is, gonna forever be there. But that was one of the things I said I wanted to do, just kind of like, starting in March. Like once I get some of the stuff off my agenda, some of like, just kind of like lighten the load up a little bit. I kind of wanted to start going back into like just diving in, just knocking out stuff like that I have to do. But like I said, this week it's kind of been on the up and up. It's been a lot to do, but I still been able to knock out everything I wanted to do. And whether that be, you having to kind of like wake up 30 minutes earlier, go to bed, 30 minutes or an hour later, take off, it's not take that evening nap or something like that. Cause I mean, you're going to get your sleep regardless. And with me personally, like I said, everybody different, but what I found out about myself is kind of like, it's easier for me to just go ahead and do what I got to do regardless of how much sleep I'm going to get, because sometimes it's not even about the numbers with me. I feel like I could sleep, 8 hours compared to 3 hours or something like that, and sometimes still feel the same. So it's like, not saying it's the best for my body, but yeah, that's just, like a little insight on me. So, and this week, like I said, I pretty much kind of been like going to bed on an earlier standpoint. When I say earlier, just compared to what I'm used to going to bed at. So tonight, like tomorrow, it's pretty much, obviously I don't know what day it is, but it's Thursday, like Thursday morning. So today is actually like my last day working this week. So I had went ahead and took out Friday. So it's kind of like I'm looking at tomorrow as being my Friday. So it's like, man, I'm not even, like really worried about nothing. Whatever I have to knock out today, I'm going to knock out regardless. Like I did choose to take a little nap today because I feel like eventually, that sleep kind of caught up to me. But overall, like I said, I was still able to knock out everything. I knew I was going to have to stay up a little later if I wanted to knock out everything I wanted to do. So that was cool. I really wasn't tripping about it. And I ended up kind of like switching things up. So I had everything on my list. I didn't really do specific times or nothing like that today, because usually everything else after, I usually kind of just consider pretty much anything else I have to do like having to be done after sometime after work, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind, but like I said, sometimes those breaks do come into play, so it's important to kind of just take advantage of those instead of being on the phone, because once you get on Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that, you kind of start scrolling. You might see a video and it might catch your attention. You just like, okay, let me watch this video. Next thing you know, you're saying your whole break done went by, lunch break, 15-minute break, something like that. You could have been, working towards one of those things that you had wanted to do. Like earlier, when I had lunch or whatever, I was like, man, I said I've been like pretty much reading every night this week. So I'm like, okay, instead of having to read at night, let me go ahead and just knock out 30 minutes right here. So, before it's time to clock in or something like that, or during my lunch, let me go ahead and read. So that's what I had ended up doing today. So that just kind of took one thing, one of those things off the list that I had to do today. So like I say, it's important to kind of just take advantage of your time and just really make the most of it. And that's kind of, I guess you'll say, like my overall goal for real. Like, because at this point, I feel like I have a consistent schedule. It's not like I'm neglectful of things that I put on my list majority of the time. If I don't get it done that day, it's for sure getting done the next day. And that's, like that's completely fine with me, because it's always priority. If I can get those priority things done, then, everything else, as long as it gets done, it gets done. Simple as that. But I feel like, before that, you could do any of this stuff that I talked about, it's important to kind of just have that mental, like I always talk about, like your mental and just kind of like how important the mind is. But it's really like, it's complicated, but it's so simple. Like I look at it like literally whatever you think, that's what you can make happen. Like your mind is gonna react before your body. So it's like if for example, if you working out or something like that, and your mind, like you pretty much put in your mind like I'm not gonna be able to do this. You pretty much already shut yourself out. So I look at that when it comes to just even accomplishing different things in life. It's like about being really like being real with being real with yourself in a sense, but still just believing in yourself enough to know that okay, I can knock this out, or I'm not gonna get discouraged about this. And I feel like the biggest thing, with mental, because I feel like this is really like the origin of it. It is kind of really where it starts. Is like more so just kind of like your mindset, how you think, when you wake up, and just like really learning yourself. Because a lot of times, I always look at life as being a journey, but it's easy to, simply ignore signs about yourself. Like kind of how I said the statement earlier about myself with the, sleep and stuff like that. I realize at times it's just me, kind of just wanting more sleep. Not saying that I feel different, because literally I don't feel different at all at times. And I just, get up and I'll be like, dang, I could have got, a few hours of sleep or whatever and did what I had to do. But instead I wanted to sleep in. Now I still feel tired. So, yeah, man, like with that, just with your mental in general, you just kind of want to make sure you grounded and just make sure that, you really picking up on different things, in life or whatever. I feel like, at times too, it's important to kind of just like really push yourself to the limit just to see how far you can go. And then, of course, like scale back a little bit and you're like, okay, this fits me good. Because I feel like a lot of times, you're going to be tired, but and that I feel like that's the biggest thing. You're gonna feel, you're gonna be tired. You're gonna feel dismotivated, this, that, and the other. But it's always, a time where you could be like, okay, instead of just falling into this, the way I feel and stuff like that, I'm gonna just go ahead and just try to do whatever I do. Because at times, I find that to be kind of the most productive times, like for real. And that, that kind of falls into a lot of stuff. Like for me, it's more so kind of the gym. I like literally won't even feel like going to the gym, but I'm like, okay, man, let me at least get up in here and see what I could do. And it's just like, in the midst of all that, what a lot of people fail to realize is, okay, you went to the gym, you got over that, over that mental hurdle, I guess you would say. But in reality, you still building up on that consistency too. And I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like whenever you kind of have it in your mind that you want to get to a certain point in your life or kind of want to do a certain thing or a certain task, and it takes consistency. If you really, like strongly dedicated about it, you're going to do it regardless of how tired you feel, how unmotivated you are. So that's, I kind of like, I guess my biggest takeaway and my biggest, just kind of like my biggest kind of thing on that. And the like, I feel like as far as like materialistic things and stuff, that's kind of one of the biggest things. But I feel like, just kind of reading different excerpts and different books and stuff like that is really kind of just shifting my mental to just kind of like make me feel like, okay, dang, you really, like don't have to have this now. So I guess one of my bigger tasks is kind of like backscaling. And I feel like everything I do have, as far as like materialistic, whether it be, cars, clothes, shoes, all this other stuff, is like, it's because, I actually wanted that. It wasn't really because of, okay, well, such and such gonna see it. I wonder what they gonna think. There's that, there's that and other. I feel like a lot of times people do buy stuff based off of strictly what other people think or how people, would feel about you. But I feel like, in all honesty, if you feel like someone would feel different about you or they wouldn't mess with you if you didn't have those things, that kind of makes it like, that kind of makes me personally like question like, okay, why am I, like giving this person my energy if they pretty much just kind of like want to use me, whether that be for, like bragging rights and this, that, and the other, and just kind of saying it sounds like sporadic, but in reality, it's really, like people out there that just kind of like do stuff like that. Some people that buy stuff just because such and such, might think this of them, or some people that admire people because they buy such and such, And I'm not even talking about on a social media standpoint. I'm really talking about on a real life, like every day might, literally rub shoulders with people like this. So it's crazy. But I say that to say like, I guess kind of my biggest thing was just kind of like backscaling, like, and not to say I, really been kind of going crazy or like splurging or nothing like that. but just kind of like looking at, where I want to be in life, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, which I'll talk about on a later episode, but like just kind of really like being grounded with my goals and things I want to, do to build up to that point. It's kind of just like, got me in that mindset of really just scaling back on a lot of stuff. And, of course, like I said, if the conversation ever really, truly arises where somebody else kind of comes on here and we talk about that, I kind of go more in depth. But as of right now, like I said, that's just kind of one of those big things. Like even, just simple stuff, I guess you would say, like, with fast food and stuff like that, because I feel like a lot of times, that takes people's, if we talking about money, that takes people money. But if we talking about, just kind of like, when I say scaling back, I mean, the full 360, like, everything, not just, possessions or anything like that, but just even kind of like what I give time to, and not necessarily just meaning just people. I mean, also like social media, like I said at first, social media and kind of things that I feel like, can't help me or can't assist me, reach that place that I want to, be in life. So, I mean, I feel like it's so important to just kind of realize, what what you want in life, and also, how you plan to obtain it, because everybody's route is different, of course, and everybody has different ways of, attaining things, because me and you could literally want, the same exact thing, but we could have, different ways of planning to get there, and that's completely fine. I guess just my biggest thing was just kind of like looking at life like, okay, of course we know tomorrow isn't promised and stuff like that, but when I still set goals, the same way as far as, long term, short term, and stuff like that. And even when I look at long term goals, I kind of look at them the same way, like realistically with myself, what can I do to, get to this point? How do I plan on getting to this point? And I feel like, what I'm saying, like once I determine that kind of like helps me. So I'm like, okay, I plan on, what I'm saying, being here at XYZ amount of age. And I guess, what I'm saying, like for some people they'll consider that to be bad. They'll be like, okay, well, you don't, such and such age is still young, this, that, and other. But it's just kind of like a mental thing for me. It's like, okay, that's fine and all, but I actually want to be able to sit here and, what I'm saying, enjoy these things. And I feel like, just kind of having certain ages in mind as far as, wanting to do certain things or wanting to be a certain point in my life kind of makes it more realistic for me, where I don't, slack off, because it's like I have in my mind, that's my goal. I want to be such and such age when I, do such and such. So yeah, man, I feel like, what I'm saying, I pretty much had ran it. And I feel like at this time, kind of being on the podcast, like I always tell people, whenever I'm on here, what I'm saying, like by myself, of course, I always keep it short. I always say that. But in reality, it's, easy to kind of get winded and stuff like that, because it's like you're not, taking those pause breaks for other people to talk and stuff like that. You literally just kind of like going off of, things you really want to talk about. So I feel like in order to, really just kind of be able to talk, about, certain things that I have in mind, I feel like it's important, but it's just kind of one of those things to be mindful of, because, like I said, I genuinely do mean, what I'm saying, everything I say. And kind of like with me coming on this time, I just felt like, it was so important for me to just kind of come on at the time that I did, and not really, kind of let things get watered down or wait until I draft up some more stuff, what I'm saying, or think of some more stuff. But yeah, man, I I just kind of wanted to come on here real quick, like I said, share that insight, and I hope I shared at least, what I'm saying, like one topic that somebody could take something from, like, okay, I'm gonna go do that tomorrow. Peace.